You think being overlooked is a curse, don't you? Like you're some shadow in a world full of spotlights, a whisper in a room full of screams. They walk past you, brush you off, never even bother to see what's beneath the surface. They don't take you seriously. You could disappear tomorrow and they wouldn't even flinch. You tell yourself it doesn't matter, but oh, it does, doesn't it? It eats at you, gnaws at the edges of your thoughts when you lie awake at night, wondering why you were never the first choice, never the one they bet on. But let me tell you something. Something they don't want you to know being overlooked is the best thing that ever happened to you. They don't watch ghosts. They don't see what they don't fear. And that is your greatest advantage. You are the thing they never saw coming, the storm they didn't prepare for. Because while they were busy underestimating you, you were building. While they were laughing, you were sharpening. While they were running their mouths, you were watching, waiting, learning every weakness they had. And by the time they realize what you are, what you've become, it will be too late. Oh, you know the type. The ones who stand tall, their voices loud, dripping with confidence they never earned. They shoot you, pat you on the head like you're some pet they let follow them around. They throw you scraps of attention when it suits them, when they need something from you, when it benefits them to acknowledge your existence. But when you speak, do they listen? When you move, do they notice? Because to them, you are nothing more than a backdrop, an extra in the movie where they are the star. And that is the mistake they will regret for the rest of their miserable, predictable little lives. See, there's a freedom in being ignored. No expectations, no eyes watching your every move, waiting for you to fail. No one trying to tear you down before you can rise. Do you realize how much power that gives you? When they don't see you, they can't stop you. When they don't believe in you, they don't prepare for you, and that is when you strike. They never see the quiet ones coming. They think silence means weakness. They think patience is submission. They think your lack of presence is proof that you will never matter. And that's what makes it so beautiful, so poetic. When you finally step out of the shadows and take everything they never thought you could have. Their shock, their disbelief, their panicit will taste sweeter than any validation they could have given you. Because it won't be given, it will be taken. Oh, but they'll start to notice you then, won't they? When you stop playing their game, when you stop waiting for permission to exist. They'll start to feel it, that slow, creeping realization that they should have paid attention, should have treated you differently. And suddenly, you won't be invisible anymore. You'll be unavoidable, unshakable, unstoppable. And that's when the real fun begins. Because now they scramble, now they try to rewrite history. Pretend they always saw your potential, always believed in you. They'll try to worm their way back in, throw praise at your feet like it wasn't them who stepped over you 1,000 times before. But you won't forget. You will let them choke on their own regret. Let them taste the bitterness of knowing they let something powerful slip through their fingers because they were too blind, too arrogant, too stupid to see what was right in front of them. And you will smile, not because you need their approval anymore, but because their panic is the sweetest revenge. They thought they had you figured out, thought they knew your place. But places are made to be left behind. You were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to stay silent. And now they get to watch as you rise, as you take what they never wanted you to have. And there's not a damn thing they can do about it. So let them overlook you. Let them doubt you. Let them write you off. It's the best mistake they'll ever make. Because by the time they realize what you are, by the time they see the fire they tried to smother, it will be too late. And oh, how beautiful that moment will be. They don't see it now, but they will. Oh, they will. They don't know what they've done. They think it's harmless, the way they pass you over, the way they never consider you a threat. They do it without thought, like brushing past a piece of furniture in a crowded room. You are there, but not worth noticing. They talk over you, around you, never to you. They forget your name in conversations, mix you up with someone else, barely register your presence unless they need something. But every moment they ignore you, every time they treat you like nothing, they are building something inside you, layer by layer, breath by breath. They are feeding the quiet rage, the cold patience, the sharpened edge of what you are becoming. They make the mistake of thinking invisibility is a weakness. That being overlooked is something to pity. But what they don't understand, what they could never comprehend, is that it's the greatest gift they could have given you. The world doesn't prepare for the ones it doesn't see coming. They don't plan defenses against ghosts, and that makes you untouchable. Free. They think power is loud, that strength comes in shouts and demands. They believe in spotlights, in being the loudest in the room, the center of attention. They crave eyes on them, approval like a drug, clapping hands as proof they exist. They don't understand real power. The kind that moves in silence, that grows where no one is looking. The kind that doesn't need validation to thrive. Because while they are busy performing, you are evolving. While they waste their breath being heard, you are preparing for the day their voices no longer matter. They have no idea what waits beneath the surface. They don't see the way you study them, the way you memorize their habits, their tells, their weaknesses. They don't realize that every time they dismiss you, they are teaching you something new about them. They don't know that the quiet ones are always the most dangerous, because we watch, we learn, we adapt, and when the time comes, we strike with a precision they could never achieve with all their desperate noise. But here's the best part. They won't even realize they've lost until it's too late. They won't see it happening, won't notice the shift, won't recognize the moment the balance of power tilts. Because they weren't watching, they never thought they had to. They thought they were safe. They thought they were untouchable. And when they finally see you for what you are, for what you have become, they will hate themselves for never seeing it sooner. The tables will turn, as they always do. There will come a day when the ones who were too blind to see your worth will find themselves at your feet, grasping at the air, scrambling to keep up. They will try to rewrite the past, act like they were always in your corner. They will say they believed in you, that they saw it coming, that they always knew you had potential. But they are liars. Pathetic, scrambling liars. And you will let them lie, let them dig their own graves with every desperate attempt to cling to you. You will let them drown in the realization that they could have been standing beside you, but they chose to stand above you instead. And then, when they are at their lowest, when they are faced with the full weight of their mistakes, you will make a choice. Not for them, not to prove anything, but for yourself. Will you let them beg? Will you let them believe they still have a place in your world? Or will you walk away, let them rot in the irrelevance they once shoved you into? That's the real power, isn't it? Not just proving them wrong, but proving that their opinions never mattered in the first place. Because the truth is, you never needed them. You never needed their approval, their validation, their recognition. They needed you. They needed you to stay small, to stay quiet, to stay unnoticed so they could keep playing their games without fear. But now they have something to fear because you are no longer playing their game. You are rewriting the rules. You are stepping into the space they never wanted you to reach, and there is nothing they can do to stop it. Let them stare, let them whisper, let them scramble to catch up. It's too late. The overlooked has become the inevitable, and they will never ignore you again. They will try to act like they always saw something in you. That's the funniest part, isn't it? The way they twist the past, rewrite their own memories to make themselves seem wiser, as if they knew this was coming all along. They'll say they always believed in you, that they always knew you were capable of great things. It's a lie, a pitiful, desperate lie. And you will see it for exactly what it is. They never saw anything in you. If they had, they wouldn't have left you in the shadows, wouldn't have dismissed you like a passing thought, wouldn't have chosen someone louder, someone shinier, someone they thought was worth more. But now that they see what you have become, now that they feel the weight of your presence in the space they once occupied so effortlessly, they want to act like they were with you all along. It's disgusting, really. The way they suddenly remember your name, the way they suddenly recall all those times they should have supported you, the way they try to insert themselves into your story now that it's worth reading. But you remember, don't you? You remember every time they looked past you, every time they pretended you weren't there, every time they made it clear that in their world you were nothing. And that's what makes this moment so perfect. Because now they have to watch, now they have to sit in the discomfort of knowing they were wrong. They have to taste the bitterness of their own ignorance, choke on the regret of what they so carelessly discarded. And you don't have to say a word, that's the beauty of it. You don't have to rub it in, Don't have to remind them of their failures. They already know. And that is the greatest punishment of all. They thought being overlooked meant you had nothing to offer. They thought that because they didn't see you, you weren't worth seeing. But what they failed to understand is that being ignored isn't the same as being insignificant. If anything, it gave you the space to grow without their interference, without their expectations, without their limitations. They didn't burden you with their assumptions, didn't confine you to their narrow definitions of success. They left you alone, and that was their greatest mistake. Because while they were busy putting their faith in the ones who fit their mold, in the ones who screamed for attention, in the ones who demanded recognition without ever earning it, you were becoming something else entirely. Something they couldn't control, something they couldn't predict. And now they don't know what to do with you. They can't ignore you anymore. They can't brush you aside, can't pretend you don't exist. You force them to see you, and that terrifies them, because now they have to confront the truth they were wrong. And not just a little wrong, completely catastrophically wrong. You were never weak. You were never lesser. You were never incapable. You were simply waiting. And now the waiting is over. So let them scramble. Let them stutter through their excuses. Let them fumble for a way to place themselves back into your story. It won't work. Because you don't need them. You never did. They thought being overlooked was your weakness. They thought it meant you were forgettable. But it wasn't weakness. It was freedom. And now they will spend the rest of their lives regretting that they didn't see it sooner. They will never admit it out loud, but you will see it in their eyes, the fear, the regret, the desperate scrambling to understand how they missed it, how they let you slip through their fingers, how they walked right past something they should have been watching all along. You were right there, right in front of them. And they were too arrogant, too blind, too consumed by their own self-importance to notice. Now they have to live with it. Oh, they'll try to fix it, try to patch up their mistakes with hollow words and empty gestures. They'll act like they were always in your corner, like they always believed in you. Some of them will pretend nothing has changed at all, that you're still the same person they so easily disregarded. Others will take a different approach, suddenly showering you with praise, trying to latch on to you now that they see your value. It's pathetic, really. The way they crawl back, the way they scramble, undo what's already been done. They think words will fix it, that if they just say the right things, if they just play nice now, maybe, just maybe, you'll let them back in. But it doesn't work like that. Not anymore. Because you see them clearly now. You see every time they looked past you, every time they underestimated you, every time they gave their attention to someone else, someone they thought was more important. And no amount of backpedaling can erase that. No amount of pretending can rewrite what already happened. You remember, and you will not forget. They will try to make you doubt yourself, even now. Try to convince you that you owe them something, that you should be grateful for the struggle, for the silence, for the years of being ignored. They'll say things like, "It made you stronger, didn't it?" As if they had a hand in your growth. As if their negligence was a favor, some kind of twisted gift. But that's the thing, they had nothing to do with it. They weren't there when it mattered. They didn't push you forward. They didn't guide you. They weren't responsible for your evolution. They were a footnote in your story at best, a cautionary tale at worst. The only thing they did was leave you alone long enough to become unstoppable. And that is the irony of it all. Because had they seen your worth from the beginning, had they valued you the way they should have, they might have had a place beside you. They might have been part of the journey instead of just another lesson along the way. But they were too late. And there are no second chances. They can't go back and undo their ignorance. They can't erase the way they made you feel. All they can do is watch now, helpless as you move forward without them. And you will, because the power isn't in proving them wrong. It's in proving to yourself that you never needed their validation to begin with. It's in knowing deep in your bones that being overlooked was never your weakness, it was your greatest advantage. And now they will never overlook you again. They will watch in silence now, unsure of what to say, how to act. Some will still cling to their pride, pretending it doesn't bother them, pretending they don't care that they miscalculated. But you know better. You see it, the stiffness in their smiles, the hesitation in their words, the way their eyes dart away when you enter the room. It's shame, it's regret. It's the unbearable weight of realizing they were too blind to recognize what was right in front of them. They might try to act like they don't remember how they dismissed you, how they treated you like an afterthought. But you remember. You remember every single moment of it. And no matter how much they try to rewrite history, no matter how much they try to downplay what they did, the truth is unshakable. They ignored you. They underestimated you. And now they will live with that mistake for the rest of their lives. Some of them will try to convince themselves that you changed, that the reason they didn't see it before was because it wasn't there. That's how they sleep at night, telling themselves that you weren't always this capable, that you weren't always this sharp, this dangerous. It's easier for them to believe that you became something new, rather than accept that they were just too foolish to recognize your potential from the start. Let them believe whatever helps them cope. It doesn't change anything, because you know the truth. You always knew. You were never weak. You were never invisible. They only convinced themselves that you were. And now that illusion has shattered. It must be terrifying for them. Watching you rise, knowing that they played no part in your success, that they hold no influence over you. People like them thrive on control, on the ability to shape the world around them, to pick the winners and the losers, to decide who is worth their time and who isn't. But they didn't get to decide this. You decided. And that is something they will never be able to change. They will search for ways to pull you back in, to make themselves relevant in your life again. They will offer their support now, their approval, their recognition, as if those things still mean anything. As if their praise now has any value after years of silence. But you don't need it. You never did. The beauty of being overlooked is that you learned how to live without their validation. You learned how to grow in the absence of approval, how to sharpen yourself in the quiet, how to thrive with nothing but your own determination. And now there is nothing they can offer you, nothing they can give that you haven't already given yourself. So let them watch, let them wonder what could have been if they had only paid attention, if they had only seen what was always there. It's too late now. They will never overlook you again. And that is the sweetest revenge of all. They will never admit it, never say the words out loud, but you will feel it. You will see it in the way they hesitate now, the way their confidence falters when they speak to you. It's subtle, but it's there. The slight stiffness in their posture, the forced ease in their laughter, the way they measure their words more carefully than before. They are afraid, not of you, no, not yet, but of what you represent. You are a reminder, a warning, proof that they are not as perceptive, not as all-knowing as they like to believe. And people like them, they hate that. They cannot stand the idea that they misjudged someone, that they were blind to something that was growing right under their noses. It shakes them to their core, makes them question themselves, their instincts, their so-called ability to read people. Because if they were wrong about you, what else were they wrong about? And that is the thought that will haunt them. Because now they see you. Now they realize their mistake. But the problem with realizing something too late is that there's no way to go back, no way to undo the damage, no way to erase the past and pretend they always knew. That's the part that will eat them alive. They had a chance, and they wasted it. They will spend years, decades, the rest of their miserable lives wondering what would have happened if they had just seen you earlier, if they had just paid attention, if they had just given you the respect you deserve from the start. Would things be different? Would they still be standing beside you instead of trailing behind, struggling to keep up? You already know the answer. They do too. But they will never say it, never admit that they regret overlooking you. That would require them to confront their own flaws, their own arrogance, their own blindness. And that is something they could never do. So instead, they will pretend. They will rewrite history in their minds, tell themselves that they always believed in you, that they always knew you were destined for more. But it will be a lie. A pathetic, flimsy lie that will crumble every time they look at you and remember the truth. And the truth is, they never saw you coming. Not when it mattered. Not when it could have made a difference. And now, they will live with that. They will watch you grow, watch you rise, watch you take everything they once thought was beyond your reach. And they will do it knowing that they had nothing to do with it. That they were not the ones who helped you, who guided you, who shaped your success. That honor belongs to you and you alone. And that is the kind of pain they will never escape.